Alrighty, welcome back to Skyrim Survival. Oh, I just saw a coin purse, gold. Kind of left off, I was in this cavern. Just finished reading that book. Getting through. Oh, hello. Kinda just doing some random missions. Oh, is that another book? But I will be doing now any readings I come across, so let me get that open. So we got an Explorer's Guide to Skyrim. And that other book there. One second, I need to pull this up on my Excel sheet. There we go. An Explorer's Guide to Skyrim. By Marcius Cavane, Viscount Burma. Or Viscount Burma. Let's see. Oh. Uh-oh. Well, not too much, but I was like, oh no, the text is smaller. Oh god. Alright. Far too often, noble visitors from Cyrodiil see little more of Skyrim than the view from their carriage. To be sure, this coarse, uncivilized province is far from hospitable, but it is also a place of fierce, wild beauty with grand vistas and inspiring natural wonders, awaiting those with the will to seek them out, and the refinement to truly appreciate them. If you are of a mind to see Skyrim for yourself, I recommend beginning your adventure, as I did, by seeking out Stones of Fate. No doubt you are taken aback by the name, as I once was. The provincials and village folk have all manner of dark tales about these ancient monuments, stories of necromantic rites and fell spirits of great and terrible powers conferred on any who dare to touch them. The stories are, as Jarl Igroff once told me, a load of mammoth dung. A bit uncouth, but you get the point. To be sure, keep your guards with you at all times. Brigands and wild animals are never to be taken lightly. But the stones themselves are nothing to fear. Quite the contrary, their proximity to cities and roads makes them ideal destinations for the novice explorer, and many boast spectacular views that make the journey well worth the effort. To whet your appetite, here are 4 such locations. Most travelers enter Skyrim by way of Helgen, gateway to the north. If you find yourself in this backwater hovel, consider taking an afternoon's ride to the north, keeping to the road as it winds down the cliffs at the eastern end of Lake Ilinalta. Lake Ilinalta. Just off the path, on a small bluff, lie the 3 Guardian Stones, the greatest concentration of standing stones in all Skyrim. The view of the lake here at sunset is simply sublime. Visitors from Cheydinhal will pass through Riften, city of intrigue and larceny since Tiber Septim's day. If you seek adventure in the Rift, leave the city by the southern gate and cast your gaze upon the bluff that rises to the south. Atop it sits the Shadow Stone, a fitting symbol for the city of thieves. Whiterun is the heart of Skyrim, its towering palace rivaling even the great castles of Cyrodiil. But should you tire of the Jarl's hospitality, another adventure awaits, a few hours to the east of the city, along the road that rises above White River Gorge. The Ritual Stone can be found atop the lone hill that rises on the north side of the road, set into an ancient monument. Take time to soak in the incredible view of Whiterun, the tundra, and the gorge from this unique spot. More seasoned explorers may wish to visit Markarth, the ancient city of stone far to the west. The recent forsworn rebellion has made travel in the Reach perilous, but for those determined to seek adventure, no matter the cost, another stone can be found to the east of the city, perched on the mountain above Kolseker Mine. Ugh, it's all these words. It's like, well, how do you pronounce that? Oy. Though the climb is difficult, reaching the summit is a milestone any explorer could be proud of. There are other stones of fate to be found in Skyrim. I myself have seen several more, perched on the most remote mountain peaks, or wreathed in fog amid the northern marshes. But the true joy of exploration is in the discovery, and so I leave the rest to you. May the 8 guide your steps. Alright, very nice. And then we have, what's this one? The Hope and Redoran. The Hope of the Redoran. Okay. The Hope of the Redoran by Turiel Nearith. One of the few magical arts, the physics of Artaeum have kept to themselves, away from the common spells and schools of the Mages Guild, is the gift of divination. Despite this, or perhaps because of it, omens and prophecies abound in Tamriel, some of substance, others of pure folly, and still others so ambitious as to be unverifiable. There are still other prophecies kept secret from the prophecies of Droghizard of Elsewhere and Nerevarine in Morrowind to the Elder Scrolls themselves. The Nord nobility have a tradition of having omens read for their children. In general, these readings are of the obscure variety. One of my acquaintances told me that her parents were told, for example, that their daughter would have her life rescued by a snake, and so gave her the name Serpentkin in a special ceremony. And this young lady, Aria Valcor Serpentkin, was indeed saved by a snake many years later, when an assassin creeping on her stepped on a dansworm viper. Occasionally, omens seem to be almost purposefully misleading, as if Boethia had crafted them as traps. I recall one particularly. Many, many years ago, a male child was born into House Redoran. It was a very difficult birth, and the mother was delirious and near death by the time it was over. She chanted just as her son came into the world, and she passed from it. Fortune has smiled this day, not frowned. My child will be mighty in mind and in arm. He shall bring hope to House Harrowhand. Neither spell nor blade shall hurt the man, nor illness nor poison cause any harm. His blood shall never drop on the ground. The boy, named Andas, was indeed extraordinary. He never was ill, and never suffered so much as a scratch all through his childhood. He also was quite intelligent and strong, which, combined with his invulnerability, caused many to call him, after his mother's omen, the Hope of the Redoran. Of course, any who is called the Hope of the Redoran will eventually develop some taint of impertinence, and it wasn't long before he had enemies. His worst enemy was his cousin, Anthe, who had borne much abuse at the hands of Andus. Primary among the grudges was that Anthe had been sent to Rehad to complete his education at Andus's insistence. When Anthe returned from Hammerfell, it was because of the death of his father, who had also been a counselor of the house. Athene was old enough to take his seat in the council, but Andes claimed the seat as well, saying that his cousin had been gone too long from Morrowind and didn't understand politics as he did. The majority of the house agreed with Andes, wanting to see the hope of Redoran quickly rise. Athene exercised his right to combat his cousin for the seat. No one thought he had any chance of winning, of course, but the battle was scheduled to commence the following morn. Andes hoarded and dined and drank with the counselors that night, confident that his place in the house was secured, and the hopeful new dawn of House Redoran was rising. Athene retired to his castle with his friends. Andes's enemies and his servants he had brought from Hammerfell. Athene and his I keep changing my pronunciation of that name, sorry. But Athene? I don't know. Athene and his friends were discussing the duel morosely when one of his old teachers, a warrior called Shardi, came into the hall. She had grown quite proud of her student over the years in Hammerfell, proud enough to accompany him across the Empire to his family's lands, and wanted to know why they had so little confidence in his odds in the battle. They explained to her Andes's uncommon blessings and the nature of his mother's omen. If he can't be harmed by disease, poison, magic, or his blood can never be spilled, what hope have I of ever besting him? Cried Athene. Have you remembered nothing I taught you? Replied Shardi. Is there no weapon you can think of that will slay without blood? Are swords and spears and arrows the only items in your arsenal? Athene quickly realized the weapon Shardi was speaking of, but it seemed absurd. Not only absurd, but pathetic and primitive. Still, it was the only hope he had. All that night Shardi trained him in the art of techniques, showing him the various swings and stances her people had developed in Albion-Gora, counterattacks, feints, and blocks imported from Yakuta, the classic one, and two-handed grips for the most ancient of weapons in history. The cousins faced one another the next morning, and never have two combatants looked so unevenly matched. Andes's entrance brought a great cheer, for not only was he much beloved as the hope of the Redoran, but as his victory was a foregone conclusion, most wanted to be in good standing with him. His shining mail and blade drew admiration and awe. By contrast, Athene drew a gasp of surprise and only a smattering of polite applauses. He appeared costumed and armed like a barbarian. As Shardi had suggested, Athene allowed Andes to attack first. The hope of the Redoran was eager to finish the battle and take the power he deserved quickly. The blade pushed by Andes's mighty arm slashed across Athene's chest, but shallowly, and before it could be counterswung, Athene knocked it back with his own weapon. When Athene attacked and wounded Andes, the hope of the Redoran was so surprised by being hurt for the first time in his life, he dropped his sword. The less said about the end of the battle, the better. Suffice it to say that Athene, wielding a simple club, battered Andes to death without spilling a drop of blood. Athene took his father's seat as counselor, and it was then said that the hope in the omen referred to Athene, not Andes. After all, had Andes not tried to take the counselor's seat away from his cousin, Athene might not, being not very ambitious, might have never tried to get it. It can certainly be argued that way, I suppose. Yo, switcheroo! Doop-doop-boo-doop. Ooh. Gonna grab that. I need to disenchant things so I can get more enchantments. Ooh, okay. Let's do some of this. Make some potions. Learn some potions. Right. Oop. Alright. Some additional potion making there. Boots. A loot.
You think it'd work?
Of course not. Dogs I could train, but a half-starved wolf, not a chance.
Right. Lucky if it doesn't rip our throats out.
Oh, you gonna say?
Huh?
Time to end someone there.
Come back here!
Aw, poor puppy. Get it, puppy. Get him, puppy.
No sign of
The last of them.
someone dead.
Got you. Ah,
Over here.
got you. Hold still. Ow. Ah, yeah.
Come on, come on.
Why is my aim not as well as it used to be? Shameful. Ooh. Ravitonch. Give me things. Give me gold and all that I deserve to have. Let me be rich in all the right ways. Give me some imp stool. Da 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 da. Books, ruined books. Poor things. Mushrooms, mushrooms, all around me, mushrooms. Give me a pickaxe so I can mine some more a little later. Bleeding crown. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yeah, I know about the steed stone. But I will not be using that this time.
What's that? Time to end this little game.
And there he goes. What do we got? Okay, we don't need that. Don't need that. Greater sword. Ooh, snow berries. Alright, where'd you go, dude? He went down the mountain. Where did he go? Did he... Oh dear. No. Where did he fall? So where's my horse? Dang it. I lost him. You probably had something cool. Hold on. Let me reload that. That. Alright, let's try this again.
Is someone there?
There we go. What do we have? Steel. And a journal. Here we go. Pickings have been good these past few weeks. Must be because of the war lots of merchants and cowards looking for somewhere to curl up and hide from all the fighting. I've told the men to ease the burden on these poor souls by relieving them of all their gold they're carrying. Guard patrols along the roads are way up. We can barely set foot outside. Travelers must have complained to the Jarl. It looks like the guard isn't ready to move against us yet, but the pressure is getting to the men. I'm having Rajir keep watch with Ulfr now. That should shut them up about our security. Damn that Valagruf. A mutiny among my men. I can hardly believe it. Thank the gods Ulfr heard of it in time. He may be blind, but he's not deaf. I killed Anjor myself. A couple of the others ran for it, but we hunted them down quickly enough. Only Isa and Rajir got away. Good riddance. There's a rumor of a dragon attack on Helgen. A dragon? Hardly. More likely just a story made up by some idiot frightened out of his wits by the war. In any case, the guard seems to have pulled back to the city, so we've been able to run a few decent raids again. One of the merchants had some odd cargo, a bunch of pelts and animals, including a wolf. I let the men roast the other animals, but the wolf I saved. Be handy to have a guard dog like that, if we could only just train him a little. Alright. Oh. Is that an arrow? I think that was an arrow. Okay. Much better. Now we can go. Wah! Where has my horsey gone? Oh, where could it be? With its rusty coat and its creamy hair. Oh, where did it go? Seriously, though. Horse. There you are, horse. River. Let's make our way to the stone. Hello. Who are you?
What can I do for you?
Hello.
I'm collecting ingredients to bring to the gourmet. He'll think my taste's so refined when I offer them to him. You have heard of the gourmet?
I have.
Then you know that gourmet keeps his identity a secret. I'm hoping to discover who he is so I can tell him how he changed my life. For all I know, the gourmet is a woman. You know, I've heard the gourmet is in Skyrim right now.
Spoilers. That's gonna both find that out later. Like the arms just like, whoa. Huh? Who? Who's talking to me? Whoever you are, you're dead.
Hey, watch what you're doing.
Uh-huh. Oh, the bone wolves.
Here we go.
Hey. Ow. Check over this. It would be cool if they just didn't have the viscera still on there. I didn't mean to pick up that dagger. What do we got? Not interested in that. Ah, the Undying Ghost. This is a spell that I really like. Really like it. Yes. Oh, I also didn't read this. Spotted Gray near Markarth, north of Selva's farm. Dappled Brown near Solitude, across the river from Katla's farm near a dragon mound. Chestnut, east of Helgen, not far from the roadside. Red, west of Whiterun, in the open plains. Spotted White, lower Eastmarch, in the cliffs north of the Shore's Stone. Pale Mare, east of Windhelm, north of Hollyfrost Farm, in the forest near the shoreline. Black, west of Falkreath, past the nearby ruins. If I had the coin, I'd hire a wizard to use Detect Life to help me find the horses. Ah, okay. Good idea. We also have a little cave here. Oh, and some more. Let's mine some more. How we break the backs to fill the stone, coming out of the other stone. Da-da-dum, da-da-dum. Mine some ore. Don't know what I'm gonna use it for. Probably gonna sell it. Upgrade my smithing. Need to upgrade the smithing so I can enchant stuff that is already... Or, no. Upgrade weapons that are already enchanted. That is a good skill to have. Gray Winter Watch. We got some... It seems to be... Excuse me. Woo! Alright. Fire. Fire. Why am I missing? we go. Troll fat. Plenty of mushrooms in here, as well as a small encampment. Is there a... Ah, there is a bedroll. Very nice. What do you guys got? Oh, elven arrows. Nice. Oh, and some... and a book to read. Let me sleep first. Increase my stamina. Oh, what do I want? What's our bow? Strength. Hungry. Nom, nom. Alright, and we have a book here. Vernacus and Borlor. Okay. Vernacus and Borlor by Tavi Dormio. Halgerd walked into the King's Ham that Loridas evening, his face clouded with sadness, while he ordered a mug of grief. His mates Garaz and Xiomara joined him with moderately sincere concern. "What's wrong with you, Halgerd?" asked Xiomara. "You're later than usual, and there's a certain air of tragedy you've dragged in with you. Have you lost money, or nearest and dearest?" "I haven't lost any money," Halgerd grimaced, "but I've just received word from my nephew that my cousin Aliok has died. Perfectly natural, he says, just old age. Aliok was 10 years younger than me." "Oh, that's terrible. But it goes to show that it's important to savor all of life's possibilities, because you never know when your time is coming," said Garaz, who had been sitting at the same stool at the smoky corner club for the last several hours. He was not one cursed with self-awareness. "Life's short, all right," agreed Xiomara, "but if you'll pardon a sentimental thought, few of us are aware of the influence we'll have and after our deaths. Perhaps there's comfort there. For example, have I told you the story about Vernacus and Borlor?" "I don't believe so," said Halgerd. "Vernacus was a Daedra," said Xiomara, throwing a few dribbles on Flynn on the hearth to cast the proper mood. "And though our tale took place many, many years ago, it would be fair to say that Vernacus still is one. For what, after all, is time to the immortal Daedra?" "Actually," Garaz interrupted, "I understand that the notion of immortality. I am trying to offer our friend an inspirational tale in his hour of need," Xiomara growled. "I don't have all the bloody night to tell it. If you don't mind." You wouldn't have heard of Vernacus," said Xiomara, abandoning the theme of immortality for the time being, "for even at the height of his power and fame, he was considered feeble by the admittedly high standards of the day. Of course, this lack of respect infuriated him, and his reaction was typical of lesser Daedra. He went on a murderous rampage. Soon word spread through all the villages in the Clovian West of the unholy terror. Whole families have been butchered, castles destroyed, orchards and fields torched and cursed so nothing would ever grow there again. To make things even worse for the villagers, Vernacus began getting visitations from an old rival of his from Oblivion. She was a Daedra seducer named Horovantha, and she delighted in taunting him to see how angry she could make him become. "You flooded a village, and that's supposed to be impressive?" she would sneer. "Try collapsing a continent, and maybe you'll get a little attention." Vernacus could become pretty angry. He didn't come very close to collapsing the continent of Tamriel, but it wasn't for lack of trying. A hero was needed to face the mad Daedra, and fortunately one was available. His name was Borlor, and it was said that he had been blessed by the goddess Kennereth. That was the only explanation for his inhuman accuracy with his bow and arrow, for he never missed a target. 1 second. Ugh. As a child, he had driven his marksmanship tutors wild with frustration. They would tell him how to plant his feet, how to knock a bolt, the proper grip for the cord, the best method of release. He ignored all the rules, and somehow every time the arrow would catch a breath of the wind and sail directly to his target. It did not matter if the quarry was moving or still, at very close range or miles away. Whatever he wanted to strike with his arrow would be struck. Borlor answered the call when one of the village mayors begged him for help. Unfortunately, he was not as great a horseman as he was an archer. As he rode through the forest towards the mayor's town, a place called Even Sakon, Vernacus was already murdering everyone there. Horatha watched and stifled back a yawn. Murdering a small town mayor isn't even going to put you in famous company, you know. What you need is a great champion to defeat, someone like Ysgramor or Pelinal Whitestrake, or she stared at the figure emerging from the forest. That fellow. Who's he? Growled Vernacus between bites of the mayor's quivering body. The greatest archer in Tamriel. He's never missed. Borlor had his bow strung and was pointing it at the Daedra. For a moment Vernacus felt like laughing. The fellow was not even aiming straight, but he had a well-honed sense of self-preservation. There was something about the man's look of confidence that convinced the Daedra that Horavatha wasn't lying. As the bolts left the bow, Vernacus vanished in a sheet of flame. The arrow impaled a tree. Borlor stood and stared. He had missed a target. In oblivion, Vernacus raged, fleeing before a mortal man like that. Not even the basest scamp would have been so craven. He had exposed himself for the weak, cowardly creature he was. As he considered what steps to take to salvage the situation, he found himself face to knee with the most fearsome of Daedra princes, Molag Bal. "I never thought anything much of you, Vernacus," the giant boomed. "But you have more than proven your worth. You have shown the creatures of Mundus that the Daedra are more powerful than the blessings of the gods." The other denizens of Oblivion quickly agreed, as they always did, with the view of Molag Bal, and the Daedra are, after all, always very sensitive about their various defeats at the hands of mortal champions. Vernacus was proclaimed the elusive beast, the unpursuable one, he who cannot be touched, the bane of Kinnereth. Shrines devoted to him began to be built in remote corners of Morrowind and Skyrim. Borlor, meanwhile, now found flawed, was never again called to rescue a village. He was so heartbroken over his failure to strike his target that he became a hermit and never restrung his bow again. Some months later he died, unmourned and unremembered. "Is this really the tale you thought would cheer me?" asked Talgerd incredulously. "I've heard the King of Worms told more inspirational stories." "Wait," smiled Xiomara. "I'm not finished yet." For years' time, Vernacus was content to watch his legend grow and his fledgling worship spread from his home in oblivion. He was, in addition to being cowardly and inclined towards murderous rages, also a very lazy creature. His worshippers told tales of their master avoiding the bolts of 1,000 archers, of moving through oceans without getting wet, and other feats of avoidance that he would rather not have to demonstrate in person. The real story of his ignominious retreat from Borlore was thankfully forgotten. The bad news, when it came, was delivered to him with some relish by Horavatha. He had delighted in her jealousy at his growing reputation, so it was with a cruel smile she told him, "Your shrines are being assaulted." "Who dares?" he roared. "Everyone who passes them in the wilderness feels the need to throw a stone." Horavatha purred. "You can hardly blame them. After all, they represent he who cannot be touched. How can anyone be expected to resist such a target?" Vernacus peered through the veil into the world of Mundus and saw that it was true. One of his shrines in Colivane West Country was surrounded by a large platoon of mercenary soldiers who delighted in pelting it with rocks. His worshippers huddled inside, praying for a miracle. In an instant he appeared before the mercenaries, and his rage was terrifying to behold. They fled into the woods before he had even had a chance to murder one of them. His worshippers threw open the wooden door to the shrine and dropped to their knees in joy and fear. His anger melted. Then a stone struck him. Then another. He turned to face his assailants, but the air was suddenly filled with rocks. Vernacus could not see them, but he heard mercenaries in the woods laugh. "It's not even trying to move out of the way. It's impossible not to hit him," guffawed another. With a roar of humiliation, the Daedra bounded into the shrine, chased by the onslaught. One of the stones knocked the door closed behind him, striking him in the back. His face broke, anger and embarrassment disappearing, replaced by pain. He turned, shaking, to his worshippers who huddled in the shadows of the shrine, their faith shattered. "Where did you get the wood to build this shrine?" Vernacus groaned. "Most from a copse of trees near the village of Evansakon," the high priest shrugged. Vernacus nodded. He dropped forward, revealing the deep wound in his back. A rusted arrowhead buried in a hole in the wood of the door had jostled loose in the assault and impaled him. The Daedra vanished in a whirlwind of dust. The shrines were abandoned shortly thereafter, though Vernacus did have a brief resurgence as the patron spirit of limitations and impotence, before fading from memory altogether. The legend of Bolor himself never became very well known either, but there are still some who tell the tale, like myself, and we have the advantage of knowing that what the great archer himself didn't know on his deathbed. His final arrow found its target after all. Ha! That's a good one. Folky's bow. Alright, one good read is I think enough for today. We shall continue on adventuring into the greater wild world of Skyrim. Alright, where's my horse? Oh, I know what I'd like to do before we end the episode. I'd like to experience one of my favorite characters. Fishing.
Come along, no more stops. We need to find our way to Solitude.
Why are we even going to a wedding at this far-flung end of the Empire, anyway?
I told you, it's the wedding of Vittoria Vici, an extremely well-connected merchant with the East Empire Company. The Emperor's cousin, remember? Hopefully these gifts will put us in her good graces, secure that import deal, and lead the way to an audience with the Emperor.
Hello.
Get away from me, you Skyrim trash!
Don't bother me, peasant. I've had a long journey and paid too much coin on these gifts to be late to Vittoria's wedding.
Alright, enjoy the wedding.
Indeed, if we ever get there.
I'll be going there a little later. White Watchtower. Oh. Hey guys. Well, you're welcome. You're not gonna let me take anything from here, no doubt. Oh well. Let's go meet my favorite guy. My favorite guy. If he spawned in, which I think he should be. Yes, he's there. My favorite guy. Am I right? Yes. Hee. Yes. I love how he just sticks out like a sore thumb. Oh, Lord.
Ah, bother and befuddle! Stuck here. Stuck! My mother, my poor mother. Unmoving. At rest. But too still.
Problem?
Oh, poor Cicero is stuck. Can't you see? I was transporting my dear, sweet mother. Well, not her. Her corpse. She's quite dead. I'm taking Mother to a new home, a new crypt, but... Ah! Wagon wheel! Damnedest wagon wheel! It broke. Don't you see?
Is there some way I can help?
Oh, yes! Yes, the kindly stranger can certainly help. Go to the farm, the Laureus farm, just over there off the road. Talk to Laureus. He has tools. He can help me, but he won't. He refuses. Convince Laureus to fix my wheel. Do that, and poor Cicero will reward you with coin. Gleamy, shiny coin!
Hey, Laureus.
Oh, for the love of Mara, what now?
The little man really needs your help with his wagon.
That Cicero feller? Huh, tell me something I don't know. Crazy fool's already asked me about 5 times. Seems he's not satisfied with my answer. Why can't he just leave us alone?
So what's the problem? I'm sure he'll pay you.
Pay me? You think this is about money? Have you seen the man? He's completely out of his head. A jester here in Skyrim? Ain't been a merry man in these parts for 100 years. And he's transporting some giant box. Says it's a coffin, and he's going to bury his mother. Mother, my eye. You could have anything in there. War contraband, weapons, skooma. Ain't no way I'm getting involved in any of that.
He's a stranger who needs assistance. Please do the right thing.
What? And just who in Mara's name are you, anyway? Hmm? Come here, telling me my business. And for what? To help a fool?
You know you should help him.
Look, Yes, you're right. Feller might be nutters, might not. But fact is, he needs help. I turned him away. What kind of a man am I, huh? Look, thanks. And I'm sorry for my unneighborly reaction. If you talk to Cicero, you be sure to tell him I'll be down to help soon.
Alrighty. Hi.
You need something? Talk to my husband.
Alright.
Vantus Lorius. Or
Chicken!
Lorius, it's all the same.
Cicero, good news.
Oh, poor mother. Her home seems so very far.
I talked to Lorius. He agreed to fix your wagon wheel.
You did? He has? Oh, stranger! You have made Cicero so happy, so jubilant and ecstatic, but more, even more, my mother thanks you. Here for your troubles, shiny, clinky gold, a few coins for your kind deed, and thank you again.
Thank you.
I will wait for Lorius. Oh, yes. Mother and I will wait right here until he fixes our wheel. I will wait for Lorius.
All right.
Oh, yes. Mother and I will wait right here until he fixes our wheel.
Very nice. Well, it's nice to meet you, Cicero. I'll be meeting you later. Alright. Well, what else should I do? I should start to go with this mission, because I want to have the werewolf blood. Before I go any further. Although, let me check my map here. Although I am on my way to Markarth. I think I know what I'll do. I'm gonna go to Windhelm, like the long way. And then do this mission here. And then fast travel back, well, not fast travel, use the stables to get back to Whiterun quickly. Yes. to Windhelm. See you later, Cicero. But before we do that, I think we're going to stop at the closest dungeon. It is gonna get cold. Risk. Right. We got some bandits, I think. Oh.
Finish this!
I'll show you a real fight.
Ah. Bow. And everybody's done. Now, where's that chief? He's got good armor. Oh, I also didn't see what this looks like. I guess that's an okay look. I mean, I'm gonna get a better hood at some point. At least it matches the color. Hold on. I also have this. So there. Ah. There we go. Woohoo. And I finally got that magic. I have frost magic. I don't think there was any door in this little area. It was just mainly that little spot there. Alright. Not an entrance, is it? Oh, wait. Yes, it could be. Yes. Komojunda Temple. It's my time. Well, see if I can cook anything. Guess there's not much here. Just a little spot to wait out the cold. It's a good little spot to end for this episode. I'm not fully convinced on this hood. I kind of look like a dork in this hood, but it's a little better material-wise, so I'm gonna put up with it until we get a better hood when as an assassin. Okay. Anywho, that's gonna be it for Skyrim Survival for now. Gonna continue it a bit later. We're making our way to Windhelm, and we're gonna meet with the one who is apparently trying to summon the Dark Brotherhood. I am very excited to restart that whole quest line. I love that quest line so much. Okay, well, I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care. Ciao, ciao.